Hello. Hello, everybody. I am Aung from the Department of Archaeology and National Museum of Myanmar. Firstly, I would like to thank you each guest and UNESCO here, and then I appreciate to mention about our culture to this webinar. Today, I would like to highlight about the maritime culture of the Inle Lake. Inle Lake is a mix of biodiversity and cultural diversity. Local community have adapted unique lifestyle and livelihood and around the biosphere environment. It is the second largest of the lake of Myanmar and freshwater shallow lake, located on the western edge of the Shan Plateau and eastern Myanmar. It was led as ASEAN Heritage Park in 2003, and in 2015 it is included in the World Network of Biosphere Reserves of the UNESCO. Inle Lake is a major tourist destination and attracted by the picturesque beauty of Lake House Tani on the pool, on the lake, beautiful floating current and fisherman's style and traditional handicrafts. Because of that, I would like to highlight among the maritime and place. I like to mention about the Inle Lake and the people who live in Lake Inda, who are the main ethnic groups, and Taoyo, Bao, and Kaya, Shan people also its diversity. Inda live on the lake, living by fishing, cultivations, and handicraft. For the transportation, they always use the boat, and for household, for land transportation, they use engine, and for the household, the small boat use for the their daily activities. The unique style of the Inder is rowing in the boat with one leg by standing. They pedal this way because seeds and water plants are many in the lake, and when they row steady down on the boat, they could not sit down. For this pride this is no gender. There is no gender. People are prided and trained since an early age. The main economics of Inle Lake is the Prodigarden. It is the unique of the Inle Lake. And there is attraction, natural beauty, and significance of the lake. There are saying of the Indo people, fishermen for 6 months and farmer for 6 months. This means in a year, Indo people and they work as a fisherman for 6 months, and they work as a cultivator for 6 months. In the Floaty Garden, the Floaty Island has 2 types of natural islands and man-made islands. The natural islands of Floaty began as a floaty island, islet, ecologic and organizing of water, hyacinths, weeds, and flotsam within the mud, and for a long time. Formerly, they thought the natural floaty island as saw as a farmer wanted from the shore of the lake, and then towed boats sticks to the lake bank by bamboo pool on which they can freely slide and down with the water level fluctuation nowadays. And the floating currents, the natural floating currents products prohibited by the government because of the sustainable environments. So they use the man-made island. The man-made island with the grass of the current, reef, water hyacinths, and from the old soil removed from the surface of the floating island, and placed in the clean water fine systematic line up and prepared for 3 years. And the main crops of this is the floating current and locally called Yichan. And he means water, and Chan means the currents, and the hydroponic farming. The main crops of floating currents are tomato, and then other crops are be cultivated. For the cultivation, Inle was used both throughout the cultivation season. The crops are sold directly at 5-day markets or near town markets. The second major livelihood of the Inle is fishing. The fishing skill with one leg are the symbol of the Inle Lake. The fishermen balance themselves on one leg at one end of the boat, and they can do with hand fishing freely. Inle fishermen use a variety of fishing methods, like I said, gear, net, hooks and line, bamboo conical neck, and fish traps. And the traditional style of fishing of the Inle Lake is with a big bamboo conical neck, locally called sao, which is an icon of the Inle people. Eventually, since the amount of the since they do not they let's use like this kind of fishing. And it is for demonstrated, and then they intend to take a picture of the visitor only. According to the medical ancestor, the whole community is the sum of the lake, and there is no control and no restraint to use or the own resource of the lake. For example, any fisherman can catch his lake in any village and any place of the lake what they want. They don't demarcate the territory for fishing, but now for the sustainable and environment, some resources are controlled within community dances and some are by government. After kids to eat at home, most fishes are sold either village by who fishes on the boat or 5-day markets or India market. Actually, Inle fishermen are also agriculturalists. They go fishing only after the completion of agricultural works. Traditionally, they do not use a fish in the great deal of religious, Sabbath days, and the market days. As the fishing and marketing system in the fishermen are not really commercial fishermen, but income sufficient as only for substances. For maritime skills of Inle are not only floating gardens and fishing, but also handicrafts. It has various handicrafts workshops such as blacksmiths and building boat, silversmiths, and making tobacco and weaving. In the silversmith is popular through the whole state. These handicrafts are also support to the local economy. Among these handicrafts, lotus weaving is an appetite and one most symbols of the Inle Lake. In the region, origin lotus textile is only for offering products and meant, but nowadays it is weaved as a splendor products and precious brand. And the whole process from picking the lotus plants to extracting the fiber, contouring to weaving is all done by hand, and it's environmentally friendly. Most of the lotus weaver are women and as can do household. And the weaving workshop are well established part of the tourists and local visitor. The skill of the Inle is a making traditional cuisine. The Inle cuisine are famous among Myanmar traditional food. As the culture pride is in the Inle Lake, most of people are Buddhism, and all festival events are related to the Buddhism. Among festival, the Founder Bagura festival is famous in Myanmar, and this is held almost a month. Within the festival, for Buddha image are placed on a riot barge which is towed with special long boat made by the app to 100 by let ruler to travel to 21 villages around the lake. In this festival, all people around the lake are organized as delivered. And this network has been completed by a strong social cohesion that all ethnic groups. This process is a key involving all the village, lake, hill, tribe population, and all the indigenous people and their relationships. And during the festival, the highlight of the festival is boat racing by lake and the roller standing and rolling with one leg, and it includes men boat race and women boat race. This is the highlight of the festivals. And for the economy, local economy, as I mentioned, the economy of the inter-ethnic groups are floating gardens, or found on the land nearby, livestock breeding, and fishing. The main economy of the Inle is product for tomato, and community depends on agricultural farming. Inle Lake is the targets of tourists, and it supports the local community economy. For the local commercial, the lake dwellers close lake with the hill tribes such as Bo'o, Taoyu, Danu, and other tribes, and related by fighting market cycle around the lake. As a fighting markets and floating markets are the major center for the exchange product. Important exchange pools and ethnic groups can meet straight around the lake. At the look at the community during the COVID-19. As an Inle Lake is a famous place for tourists and local visitors, the local community has many chances for occupation and income, and depends on the tourists. However, during the COVID-19 pandemic, the tourism is declined, and the business that relies on tourists are failed. The crops and tomatoes are selling at a lower price because of lockdown. It is a close to the economies when the cultivation business is not enough income of the daily life. Fishing is support for daily income. But not a lot effort during the COVID-19 by fishing, that income due to low fish trade, and also fighting markets are prohibited because of the pandemic, and cannot be trade between tribes regularly. But because of the COVID-19, the floating garden is improved. As ancient times, the format before the COVID-19, the floating markets prices in Inle Lake is almost disappear. But now it is recovered, re-improved, and this prices, because the fighting markets and the markets are locked down, and so they used the floating markets. And then, even though facing with this difficulty, the interpeople struggle for daily life by fishing and selling their farm product and handicrafts at Yangshui and Taoji market. Nonetheless, the ethnic groups and the indigenous people in the Inle region are challenging the pandemics and trying to survive by practicing their tradition and custom. For the conclusion, traditional maritime skills of the Inle Lake are activate not only within the community, but other indigenous people. The knowledge of the tradition is transmitted as an activity of the daily life. In the Inle traditional practice, their agenda identities, that is, fishing is the work for women, and weaving is for women. In the religious practice, only men can tow on that pound or ubate, but even they have a gender participated in a passage with the balance of social and cultural activities. Because of diverse cultural and rich natural resources, Inle Lake has many economic activities which are accompanied with tradition, cultural, and custom, adapted to their environment for their livelihood, while trying to hand over the traditional custom to the next generation. Thank you. Thank you for your attention.